All right, class. So today, just gonna go over a few things on NX. Let me make sure I'm sharing the screen here. All right, so you all should be able to see my screen here now. Just got NX popped up, and today we're just gonna go over the method on which we use to do our um, drawings. So of course, first thing that we will need to create a drawing is just a part. I'm just gonna make a quick, simple part here. You guys don't really have to do much with this, but I'll just call this model underscore drawing. I'm gonna switch it over to inches, do a model. Oh, that's good. Hit OK. And so now I'm just gonna create a part. So sketch. Let's do something on here. And yeah, on that plane is okay. And we'll just do a standard rectangle. We're gonna do a center point rectangle like so. Make this about, we can do it even 12 there, and the height of it, we can do like 10, angle being 0, so don't want it to be at any angle. That looks good to me, and I'll just go ahead and throw in a fillet or two, like 2-inch fillet. Yeah, that's fine. Like so. Finish sketch, do an extrude. Yeah, 1 inch is fine. Then I'll just do another sketch on top of here. Again, nothing too crazy. I'll just add another rectangle. It's already at the center point. I'm going to change this from entire assembly so that I should be able to grab the point. Just make sure I can grab it. And I'll just make this a 2 by 2. 180 is fine, that's okay. Finish that sketch, do also an extrude on that, and make it just a bit taller. Let's just say 5 even. Add a chamfer on it. Hit OK. And then also I want to add in a hole, or a couple holes actually, so I'm going to do another sketch. I'm going to do it on this back side here. And these holes are going to be concentric to that there. And they're going to be 2.5. That's fine. And then I'll just pattern this around. Pattern curve. This one. Want to use a direction 2 also. So direction 1, go that way. Direction 2, go that way. I'm not even sure the actual distance, but we'll just make this a -6 to even it out. And we'll make this 8 to even that out. Alrighty. And then just go ahead and do an extrude cut on this. Change the Boolean settings. Oh, Boolean, subtract. Flip the vector. Hit OK, and there we go. So that's pretty much all I want to do there. So let's go ahead and do a file, save as. Well, no, I already have it saved, so file, just save it. Okay, let's do a save as then. I don't know what that was trying to say. Let's save it directly to the desktop. There we go. Now, so about the drawing, a couple different ways to actually do the drawing. I think I mentioned to you guys before in class, you can always go to File, New, and then come up here to where it says Drawing. Switch it over to the Drawing tab. We're already in inches, so you can just switch to check out one of these. In most cases, you're going to use like the D size drawing. That's pretty average size. CBA is going to be smaller. EF is going to be larger, of course. D is just a pretty good size for most of your drawings. Another way of going about doing it is, I believe, application and go to drafting. So basically when you do this, it's going to actually create the drawing inside of the part. So you don't actually have to exit out of the part and create a new one. So if I go to File, New, and then I go to a drawing, and let's say D-size drawing, and we'll just say that's going to be a drawing for that. Hit OK. As you can see up here, oh, well, the first thing that pops up is the issued. So first issued, I don't think we really need to put anything in for that. So I'll just put NA. That's fine. Leave NA for that. Drawn by, checked by, we can always do that. So drawn by is always going to be your name. Checked by is going to be whoever's the checker. And approved by is usually like an engineer or something like that. And that information is going to basically go down here into the title block. So I hit close. Now it's in the title block. We're good to go. But again, one thing I want to show you is that in the model drawing, you can just come over here to application and then hit drafting as well. Let's say you want a D size sheet for that. Hit OK. And then we got the same thing, but as you can see up here, we're still inside the same model drawing one. When we did the file new, we had created a new drawing. So it's a different file, but this one here we created in the same file. So I would say first issued, I don't know, I'll just put today, drawn by, just so you can kind of see the difference. And then this now pops up because it knows that we are in the same model. So they just keep it the same rather than having to select it. So the part that we want, we already have the part selected, it's that one there. We can hit next. It's going to ask us a couple of options. View boundary, keep that as the same, or you can change it. Center lines, if you want to add silhouettes, hidden lines, stuff like that. Hit next. This is going to be the main one, orientation. Which view orientation do you want to add it in? I'm going to put the first one in isometric, so that way it looks like that. And then layout, if you actually wanted to do multiple, you can do that here also. But I think I'm just going to leave it as isometric up there and remove out the front facing one. I think you got to hold down shift. Okay, so it's leaving this as the parent view. But you can also just piggyback off of different views this way. So it makes it really easy to add in your 3 views if you wanted to. So I would have to just go back to orientation, put this as the front, so that way you got all three views there. I guess I'll do that, and I'll just add an isometric one that way. Only thing about it is that all of these are now connected. So if I hit finish and I move one, others going to move also. That's the only thing. So you can't really move without moving the other ones. One way to go around that is I believe right click and go to, I think it's view alignment, update boundary, view dependent edit. I think it's view alignment. You can remove the, no, it's not going to be alignment. Let's see, settings, and try edit. It's like a hinge. If you want to hinge the view, I'm not seeing it right off the hand though, so I'll get back to it. But yeah, so that's pretty much how you would create the views really quickly and easily. If you wanted to do it a more manual way, because of course most drawings are going to have the same exact ones as they show here. So we can go up here to our home tab. As you can see on our home tab, we have a bunch of new different items here. I'm going to switch this to my part navigator so I can see my stuff better. Or yeah. Okay, so if you wanted a new sheet, we can add in a new sheet here. I'll click on that, new sheet, and let's just say another D-size drawing sheet. Hit OK. I'm just going to put 2 there, and now we have sheet number 2. And you can also see here it says work active. If you want to go back to sheet number 1, just double click, then you're back at sheet number 1, and you'll see also it says work active now. Sheet number 2 is still there. Sheet number 2 should still have the so the information I added for sheet number 2. Scale is going to be 1:1. Drawing number is already there. This is sheet 2 of 2, sheet revision A, all that good stuff. Go back to sheet 1. It's going to have all that same information. I believe most of this information is going to pull over sheet to sheet. This information is a little bit different because sometimes the sheets get added in separately. And if I wanted to change that, I would go here to drawing, right click, and I believe it's update. No, not update. Sheet 1. Okay, so yeah, you got to go to sheet, the one that you want to edit. Go to sheet 1, right click on that, and then go to I think it's edit sheet. And then you can change like the scale of it. You can change the drawing sheet. You can change the sheet name, what revision it is. So if this is instead of revision A, you put revision C. If you want to change the scale to like half or something like that, I think that actually changes our drawings as well. Hit OK. So yeah, now these get a little bit smaller. I go back, right click, edit sheet, and change this to 2:1. They should get bigger. There we go. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it as 1:1. D-size drawing. Revision, I can just put B. That's fine. Sheet number 1 and all that stuff. Leaving it inches. And hit OK. Actually, I might do half. It looked better when it was a half. There you go. That's fine. So that's one way to edit that there. To edit the title block, I believe. Where is that at? Title block is considered to be a table. And here we go, define title block, I believe. And the title block is this one, but it's not. It's not popping up for me. Let me see. Because these are each individual view here. We don't need to change that. Let me think about that for a second. I have to jump back into that one here in a second. But yeah, so the most part about this is going to be in the Home tab. Again, we can add in different views. So base view is just, any base view that you want to add in pretty much. It can be the top view, front view, right view, whatever view that you want to put in there. You can also do a orientation, like manual orientation, to orient the view however you want it to look. The scale, you can set the scale of what you want it to be. If it's not set to the same as the actual drawing itself, the drawing is set to 1/2 right now, so we can change that to be something bigger or smaller, so on and so forth. From there, we also have projected views. So projected views are just basically um, what's it called? Projected off of a main view, like so. And this is part where it says the hinge line. That hinge line is what we would want to not have. So the method of placement hinge, we don't want it to be hinged. We can just say inferred in that way. And let me show you guys. So hinge, associative alignment. So if I say this goes here, and this time I'm going to do not hinged, I'm going to do inferred, and I'll just put this one out this way. Hit close. Now this one that's hinged will only have to move along with the line of the other one. But as you know, we took off the hinge here, so this one can move wherever it wants to. So just keep that in mind when you guys are adding in these different views. That hinge is a big thing, depending on where you want your views to be. I usually hinge only, front view, right view, top view, and then everything else is unhinged. That way it's able to be moved anywhere. So I'll delete that one. I'll still delete that one. Next we have detail view, which we know what a detail view is. Just gonna show you how to use it. First things first, gonna select what type. I usually do circular, but you can do another type. Set your center point. So if I want the center point to be here, I click on that. Select my boundary size. However big do I want it to be? Let's say I want to do about that. And that's the image that we get there. We can increase the scale of it. Let's say 2:1, like so. And then drop it down. And there we go. It already comes in with the title for the view title. Anywhere we go, it's going to add it to it. Next would be a view break. I don't think we have a part big enough for a view break, but pretty much if you wanted to take a part and then just like a very, very long part or something like that, very big part, and then it kind of just splits it up into multiple different boundaries. That way so you can see it on the whole sheet. Section line, you're going to use this quite often for your section views. I think if you do section view, it automatically wants you to create a section line first anyway. Look here, section line segment. Since we don't already have one, it gives me the option to place one. So let's just say I'll put a section line here. Boom. What orientation is going to be straight down like so. And that's going to be a section cut for that. But if I were to already have a section line put in, so let's go to section line. The parent view is going to be this. Now we can draw something on here with a profile line. Let's just say come from there straight down to here. Hit finish. And I have my section line there. Hit. So now I can just do, sorry about that. Now I can just do a section view. The section line that I want to grab is going to be already there, which I had to change. Select existing. So select the standalone section line, which is this one. Boom, place it here. Then we get to go. So two different ways of doing that. Just really depends on how you want to do it. Breakout section views. That's if you want to see a part of a view or section that's already pre-existing. So I would say let's create one on here. After you click on it, you want to draw now. And you want to cut through the model. I can't remember. Well, first you have to do a base point, but I can't remember if I had to switch to the actual drafting tools to grab it or not. But let's say my base point is this. And then the extrusion vector, do I want to reverse it or? Let's try up. Let's try this up one there. And we're going to do normal to the view. All right, so we got the extrusion vector. And now we have to select the break line. We don't have its break line, so I have to put in a break line first for it. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can actually. If I do something like that and then create that on this view, my base point is that. I'll leave everything normal. No. Yeah, I might have to put in a different break line or something. Delete that out. But yes, I can go back over that a little bit later. The next part would be adding in your dimensions. Dimensions are pretty straightforward. Hit rapid. That's going to be the easiest thing to do. And then really just click on what you want. You click on one single line, then it'll just give you that one single line. Like, for example, if I click on this top line here, it'll give it to me, 1.5. But if I want to, I can also click on 2 points. So if I want to get from here, I see it switches down to get to the other point there. That's going to be 10. And then, kind of just go from there. I usually leave it as inferred unless you want to do something like vertical. So if I wanted to, it's going to give me a vertical dimension for that line. But as you can see, that's just 0. So that doesn't really make sense. So if I wanted to do vertical, just click on the actual vertical line and then boom. That line's vertical, that line's vertical. But I usually leave it as inferred unless, you really want it to be something particular. So like perpendicular, I can do a perpendicular line to this. Or actually, let me switch. Let's do angle on that one. something like that. And all of these are just pretty much the same. So linear dimension, radial dimension. I think we can do a radial dimension right up here. So we can do a radial dimension on this. Also a radial dimension on that. We did an angular dimension. Just click on two lines. Chamfer. We technically do have a chamfer, right? So we can just come up here and do a chamfer. That'll give us pretty much anything we need for the chamfer. Thickness, we don't worry about that right now. Arc length. So yeah, we're pretty much good on those. These other annotations I'll worry about later when we do assemblies. Because we don't really need to do anything with it right now. Hatching, we could use hatching, but as you see with our cross section, we already have hatching in there, so that's fine. And yeah, that's pretty much it with the drawing. Pretty straightforward, like other programs. Just bring in your views, base view, bring in your projector views off of that. Your isometric can be solid rather than wireframe, which you can go to settings and change that. General. They have a lot of different options, so I always forget where everything is, so excuse me on that. Your view label, if you want to show the view label, you can do that. Show view scale. Smooth edges, don't worry about perspective. Don't worry about for right now. Shading, there it is. Shading, instead of wireframe, you can do it to fully shaded. PMI, threads, trace lines, first rows, intersections, hidden lines. Yeah, hidden lines, you can actually turn off hidden lines in an isometric view. You don't really need to see that. Visible lines, you do want to keep that on. And okay. So now as you can see, you have everything there. It does look like you have some hidden lines. So I'm gonna go back to the settings here. And they should be invisible, but just go to not process hidden lines. Okay. Those must be different lines. It's not visible lines. Yeah, I don't like seeing those lines in there. I don't really like seeing those lines in there. I had to remember how to turn those off actually. Because they're not always on. I'm not sure why they show it now. But yeah, so another way to get to the settings, you can really just right click on it and go straight to settings. Instead of edit, just go to settings and it'll take you right there also. Something I did want to mention as well is those little clocks over here. These clocks over here basically say that this is out of date, so you need to update it. It looks like this isometric view here is out of date. So all you have to do is just really click on it, and you'll see, and that might be what's going on. I might remove those lines, but if I click on it there, and it just updates itself. So no, it didn't fix those lines, but update it there. You can do it one by one. I think you saw some clocks up here at the top also. You can do the whole entire drawing update, or you can do it one by one. And then from there, one thing I want to mention was the dimensions. If I go up here to rapid dimension, I click, and let's click there. Why is that coming up as an angle? Oh, because I put angular. So let's do inferred. Sorry. Let's just get this one. And if I move it around, you won't see it. But once I stop and hover, you'll see this little box that pops up. This box is actually, I'm gonna do it on the top one here. Rapid there. Yeah, so that way you see better. So now I can actually just type in some information up here, and I'll just put top. And now you can see it actually corresponds to the top there. This one's going to be bottom, so it corresponds to the bottom. This is left. This is right. So that's how you add in some information in those locations. If you want to make it reference, you can hit this button here. That makes it reference. If you want to change the number 6 figs on it, you can change that as well. You can add some tolerance to it if you wanted to. Change the type. There's an angle, dimension, radial, diametral. You can also go to the appended text, so you can add some text to it. This is the same thing as you had before, but you can just re-add it here. If you want to do after, before, above, all that. Edit that text, add symbols to it. So this is going to be a little bit better next class when we go over this. And then you can also go down here to the text settings and then change a few things here as well. So instead of alignment to the left, you can align everything to the center. No prefixes, tolerance, dual, narrow, the actual text itself. There you go. So yeah, so I believe that is all it there. You guys are welcome to ask me any questions if you need to. But I think it should be good to go for everything that we need to do here for it.